Request 152. What was that? 114.
Which one of us is Tina Turner? Not me.
Oh, I love this song.
I don't think I have the legs for it.
Is there any background on the top or something? Just stop it. Okay.
Just a little bit.
If I ever find out all I see, north and south, as if I ever find out, oh, didn't take long to find me. As a faithful life, it didn't take long to find me. And I am staying around. Keep on going to the shadow, even out to the shadow. $142.
Yeah, well, people are too, it's too hot to turn.
One question. Yeah, yeah, God is great. Yeah, yeah, God is good. Yeah, 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 yeah. What God was for us. There's a spotlight on us. There's a stranger on the bus. Gotta make it clear. What will the loving do I see? It's taking up that people have to believe. You taste like heaven and Jesus and life. Yeah, yeah, God is great. Yeah, yeah, God is great. Yeah, 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 yeah. What is up? There's a spotlight on us. There's a stranger on the bus. Gotta make it clear. Gotta make it clear. Nobody wanna come home. Yeah, yeah, God is good. Yeah, yeah, God is good. Yeah, 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 yeah. God was from the past. Oh, he's a strong light from the past. Oh, he's a Savior from the past. Never make it clear. Oh, What was that? 81.
The people in the pews get to choose first. 125. Of course. What am I saying? Okay, ignore that first section. It's in G.
Welcome to Walker Church.
Good morning.
Oh, morning, Kate.
We got our summer droves and it's crowds breaking in because they want to be here on summer Sunday morning, right? Right?
Yeah.
People are all excited to get it started.
AC.
Yeah, the AC. Some people just come for the AC, which is just fine. We will take all sorts of reasons to be here. So I'm Katie. I'm the pastor here at our Walker, and it's good to be with you this morning. We have a lot of things that are going on all the time. So I'll share a little bit of that before we get going with some of our other forms of celebration. One is that I see Greg is standing back there by the clipboard. Can you stand up and grab the clipboard? You can, we can play a warmer, colder game. There you go. You want to hold it up? Everyone look at Greg and you can see the sign up board. Greg is doing a great job of holding up the clipboard. So you can cheer for him if you want. He's doing a great job in life. We have a magic clipboard, and that is a really good way to be a part of the service. Because in case you didn't notice, the service after most of you've been here before, we like to involve everybody in what's going on in the services of the Sunday morning. It's not like, a Catholic service where people stand in the back and go through all those motions and you just are an audience member. No, you are participating. So we'll have a couple of different people participating today in the service. And we would love more and more of you to be doing that. So you can sign up for those next few weeks on there. Especially, we're putting things a few weeks in advance because it's helpful to keep people, start getting people thinking, and especially if you're not here every Sunday, which I know almost all of you are here every Sunday, right? That's the thing that we all want to be doing. But make sure you plan in advance. We do have Sundays in August where there will be a lot of special guests. So we have Mary Hayes Greco, who I've heard has done some tarot readings for people in this room, who's done some other work, she does a lot of work with healing, forgiveness and healing, and she lives like 2 blocks away. And she was married in this church by Brian Peterson years ago. So she's a kind of part of the Walker family, even though she hasn't been a participant here. And she's going to be preaching August 8th. Then we'll have Roger Lynn, then we'll have Mary Buckley and Mary Parker. So it's going to be just a super fun filled August with special guests. I will be gone. So if there's something you need to talk to me about desperately, you got 1 week to do that. If I can schedule you in. Otherwise, we'll talk in September, and that'll be good. We've got that going on. And I'm wondering, well, another thing, we have a cleanup today from 2 to 4 today. So if you want to help us kind of as we're shifting around and organizing and making sure that things all have a place to be in this building as we are reopening to more rentals and more shared use in this place, and also recovering from different kinds of shared use during this time. So we'll be here from 2 to 4. There'll be ice cream bars if that's a motivation for you. If you want to just at least come and say hi and grab an ice cream bar, you could do some, weeding if you want, whatever you feel like doing. And we're going to be having another one of those probably beginning of September too, before homecoming Sunday. What other kinds of things do you all have going on that you want to let people know about? Barbara?
Hi, I'm Barbara. I'm the chair of the SPRC, and the group is putting together a new job description for administrative assistant. Alina is doing a great job for us. She's kept us floating during the day. Thank you. They have kept us floating so many months. And now they are working on getting a lot of rental groups into the building, which means that other things need to be done by us since we're back in the building. So I'm here to ask for a volunteer group to meet rental groups, special groups that come in for parties, etc., to unlock, lock up, make sure that their space is set up the way they need it, possibly set up microphones. You might volunteer to be here, but not do that. And then we also need volunteers to stuff envelopes and to update the directory. So if you all talk to me afterwards, I'd appreciate it if you get those groups going as soon as possible. Gerald is volunteering.
That's when I just saw that on a sitcom yesterday. You just did. No, I did not bid. Yeah, so my agent is here, and so I'm required to announce that I am playing music in public on Friday and Saturday. Friday at Galapagos, like the island. It's 3505 East Lake. We're playing from 7 to 9. It's fun, and some people dance. There's good introduction food, and Saturday there's a reggae fest down at the Harbor Bar near Red Wing, Minnesota. Also, that's a different group. That's obviously a reggae Caribbean Afro band. That's from 6 to 10. So, as per instructions, I'm letting people know. Lake Street is easy. There's no cover charge. The food is great. The vibe is nice, etc. I just want to lift up Mary's coffee concert on Wednesday at 10 a.m. in her front yard. It's really a lot of fun, so come. This afternoon over at Moon Palace, folks, I believe outside, there's an event. I'm hoping I'm getting the name right. I got it on I put it on the our performance page. It's called Poetry in the Window, I believe, and it's spoken artists. And one of them is a Mocha Kula. Those who remember Mocha. So from 4 to 6.
All right. I'm still Barbara. I'm gonna be selling my pottery at the Loring Park Art Festival next weekend, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, not Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So stop by, say hi.
How fun is that? We got a lot of artists and musicians in here. It's very
Still looking for a place to live, so any contacts to discuss that with me also. I am notary public, and I provide that service at no cost to customers. And the only thing I don't notarize are wills.
I feel like I know this, on Thursday, Alan and I recently, what I call the string band, folk country bluegrass, but it's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the circle out there. And it's all levels of playing color. And a free will donation.
Next Sunday, I was first after church, come over to East Phillips to the Drift Depot on 28th Valley. Urban Farm, Toxic Farm. That we passed here. And also tonight at Jericho Square is a gathering in honor of Peanut Chill, whose family is in town to that church. But starts at 1, goes till 4, probably. Feel free, unless you don't have to clean up, stay later. Thank you. You want to read
Yeah, no, this is what that.
Hi there, everyone. I'm gonna be playing music at the Egg Queen Cafe, best egg rolls in town, I think. Next Sunday, we're playing with the Songwriter Association, for a songwriters who doing original songs. The Egg Queen Cafe is near Larpenteur on Hammond.
John Woolforth and Ruth Fowler said that say hello to former members. It's been a couple of days of them up in Varna, and they're just doing fine.
All right, one more and then we'll keep going.
Just a reminder that the coffee flush has moved from our front yard to Salon Coffee Shop on Minnehaha and 39th Street. Mondays, 11 until 1.
All right. How do you want to do invocation this morning? So we're gonna have Al come up for invocation of our service. And then Nancy is going to read aloud too, and then we're gonna have 5 minutes of silence meditation time. So, here we go. And all of that will end with the chime. You're gonna go? Okay, you'll go too. Okay, we'll start with invocation, then Al will go search for the chimes while Nancy's reading aloud too. It'll all happen at once. We can do all kinds of multitasking.
There's a battery replacement in the light. This little box happening here shortly as well. Good morning, my relatives. Welcome here where we are all together on this molten-hearted Gaia. Welcome here where we are in this radiance of soul and the reflected light, Luna. Welcome here where we are also in the light of the distant Southern Cross and the light of Polaris
and where we are constantly immersed in a confounding great mystery that pours forth this ocean of discoveries that wash in their footprints as we walk along the shore of that extraordinary bounty of discovery. It is my great privilege to be in this moment, in this little bitty nexus of seeing the light from behind your eyes, holding forth, testifying to that ineffable essence, spirit, wonder that is where we are all one. Namaste. Good man.
I'm gonna read what I think was Brian's theory about Sue. And he was right. Number 67. Everyone says that my way of life is the way of a simpleton. Being largely the way of a simpleton is what makes it worth be humble. When a man cares, he is unafraid. When he is fair, he leaves enough for others. When he is humble, he can grow. Whereas, if like men of today, be bold without caring, self-indulgent without sharing, self-important without shame, he is dead. The invincible shield of caring is a weapon from the sky against being dead.
Well, I know the fearless leader Jim Creary is gone, but I was told that the singers might still have a way of singing without Jim. Is that possible?
Yeah.
All right, let's try.
I can play it before. It's on. Yeah, we should.
The Walker Singers, more like the Walker Goofballs.
You are home for it. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Oh yes, I. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Oh yes, I. Oh yes, I know. Oh yes, I know. Oh yes, I know. Oh yes, I. Oh yes, I know. Oh yes, I know. Oh yes, I know. Oh yes, I. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Oh yes, I. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Oh yes, I know. 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 Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Oh yes, I know. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Freedom is coming. Oh yes, I know. 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 Oh yes, I.
The reading from David White, his book, House of Belonging, which is called Sweet Darkness. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision is gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes, to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your wound tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free. give up all the other worlds, except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn. Anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you.
So lately, we've been having the opportunity to have some prayer practices of different kinds. I know a lot of people have different definitions of what it means to pray. Some people are very anti this idea of praying, putting your hands together with your eyes closed to some sort of God. Other people are really passionate about meditating. So Mary Parker's been leading some community prayer of her own making lately. And another practice we've been doing, especially over the Zoom season, has been through the gifts of Alice Brown, and doing a practice of both what we're bringing in and what we're letting go of. So before we do that, I just want to, if there are people who want to just shout out something short of, if there is something you need to name or lift up or pray for, something you need to invoke, you can kind of hold that in your heart right now, or if there's something you need to kind of shout out briefly, you can do that now.
Rain.
What?
Rain.
Praying for rain, yes, that's a good one.
Expectations.
Expectations.
My daughter Maggie.
Daughter Maggie,
Son John.
your son John,
My friend David.
David.
One out of 7 people on our planet that is on the move, trying to get to safety.
One out of 7 people in our world on the move. I'll lift up the Native American indigenous population, especially after the findings of many graves in Canada. Yes.
So I'm gonna use the grandmother rule today to pull things out of our mind, body, spirit, soul, community, things that we need to let go of. And then I'll use the other bowl to bring things in. I'm gonna use the microphone today, just to see how that works. You can let me know if you can hear it better. Anything you wanna let go of, these sound vibrations, pull it right out of you or right out of our community. Make room for new things. Old ones come back. Bring new life into our mind, body, spirit, heart, community, world.
I have mixed feelings about saying I told you so. I wrote this song in 1992. So this is the drought, and I'm picking things out, and the ghost of me listening for rain, because they say sometimes pain is a sign something's being brought forth. I've been to college, and I've been to church, and I learned you only know what you feel. And I'm trying to hang on, bread that won't break, and they tell me that's not really me. Yeah, and the sun shines hotter and hotter, trapped by waste gases high in the air, and the heat burns over and over, all through the night it's still there. And who could have thought there could be such a fire beneath the heart feeling so cold? And then all the best things that you once thought were free could be really more expensive than gold. In light of forge was hard to warm. You use all the truth to burn. And all too soon, a flat after it was too late to ever return. Now we look at each other in the personal life, wondering how it could all go so strange. We total our assets to darkness that will bring us no coolness nor shame. And the sun shines hotter and higher, trapped by waste gases high. And the heat burns over and over, and all through the night it's still there. And who could have thought there could be such a fire beneath the heart feeling so cold? And then all the best things that they told you were free might be really more expensive than gold. Feet on the ground, hearing the sound of a humming like a shell on my ears. Is it moving or the silence? Or is it the song of the spheres? And the lightning that glows on the edge of the night. Is it thunder or only the heat? Oh, I gotta get tap on that storm that's gone, 'cause I got some expenses to meet. And the sun shines hotter and hotter, trapped by waste gases high. And the heat burns over and over, and all through the night it's still there. And we could
have God, if we keep such a fight, keep the heart feeling so cold. And that all the best things that the song says of could be really more expensive than gold.
So I have a pop quiz for you, because I know that all of you are here every Sunday. You're all taking notes diligently and paying attention all the time. Nobody falls asleep or anything. So, what did we decide was my most dangerous word last week? Cheryl. Should. Cheryl wasn't even here and she was taking notes. That's pretty impressive. There were a lot of other people maybe that have had more dangerous words for different reasons. But should was a big one. And I'm curious, this is just another random pop quiz. We talked about joy a little bit over the last month. What was something that comes before joy? Usually, that you think might come after joy, but actually comes before joy.
Gratitude?
Cheryl again with gratitude. No, wasn't Cheryl? So Jennifer, the agent. The agent said gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Good job. So we've been talking, this summer series is a couple things, but a lot of it stems from the fact that this season of reopening is actually a season of rebuilding. First of all, because we think some people want us to think, because there's different reasons for the capitalism train to keep running. People want to think that we just had to flip the lights off for the time of COVID and now we're just flipping them back on. But really we've gone through a global disaster and now we're needing to rebuild after, right? And in this season, there are just a lot of challenges. And when there's a lot of challenges, it can be really easy to take out those challenges, that fear, that anxiety, that frustration, to take it out on yourself or on other people, right? It's easy to start wanting something to blame for all of the generalized grief and anxiety that we have. So we've been focusing on healing by way of looking at how things should be or shouldn't be, the lies that say there is a perfect way for things to be, and learning from the gifts of imperfection. I do still highly recommend that you read that book if you can, or find it, or borrow it, or whatever you need to do. But we've been doing that in this season, the last few weeks, and we will continue to do that today. I'm going to read another Jesus story that's connected to some of this should language, this supposed to language. It's really unfortunate, and we talked about this a little bit last week, but that Christianity has somehow become one of the biggest sources of should in the universe, right? If shoulds grew on trees, then Christianity would be the tree that a lot of shoulds grow from, which is really too bad, because I would argue that even though religions in general tend to be an easy place to fruit shoulds, that actually most religions at their core are very anti-shoulds. Most religions at their core, I mean, my expertise specifically is all I can speak from, which is in the teachings of Jesus. I would argue that the teachings of Jesus are much more anti, you should be this or you should do this, and much more about challenging the status quo, much more about asking questions than of declaring certain answers. And basically it's been since the 300s or so AD when Constantine decided that he had been told by God to use Christ as a weapon. Pretty much since then, we've been on a downhill slope of Christianity. When those first 300 years, it really started out as the religion of the oppressed. And then all of a sudden, since 300 or so, we've been the religion of the oppressor. It's really too bad. So when we're trying to go back to the beginning, we're talking like year 200 beginning, right? I don't think that's been entirely lost. I mean, the Christianity has been claimed by many of those who are oppressed, by people who have been victims of the slave trade, by people in the civil rights era. There have been people who recognize the truth that Jesus and the roots of Christianity, the Judeo-Christian religion, is for the oppressed, not the oppressor. So with all of that in mind, this scripture caught my attention from the book of Mark. Jesus began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the teachers of the law, and that he must be killed after 3 days and rise again. Jesus spoke plainly about this, but then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. But when Jesus turned and looked at his disciples, he, in turn, rebuked Peter. And he said, "Get behind me, Satan. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human affairs." Then he called the crowd to him alongside his disciples, and he said, "Whoever wants to be my disciples must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for me and the gospel will save it. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world and yet forfeit their soul? What can anyone give in exchange for their soul?" I guess the earliest church, which would maybe be even the church, the temple, the religious powers that be, when Jesus was around, I guess they were still struggling with what ultimately Constantine solidified, this idea that there is a right way and a should of how religions should be. And there was an idea that Jesus stepped into of what he should be like. And they wanted the people that Peter was representing at this moment, his friend was representing, that he was supposed to be the kind of national power that would help these people who have been under the powers of Rome. Jesus was supposed to be this very tall, strong, beautiful, glamorous, powerful person, a political power who was supposed to conquer everything after these people had been experiencing oppression. And in order to do that, in some ways, it felt like he had to win over the powers that be. So then when Jesus is talking here and he's saying, basically, I'm going to piss everybody off and they're going to kill me. That's exactly what he's saying, right? He's saying, the chief priests are going to be unhappy with me. I'm going to suffer. But we don't really like to see our leaders suffer. If you are on like social media, Facebook or Instagram, or you see people on the news, everybody looks very nice and clean. We elected a president who had a golden toilet, right? Didn't we do that? Maybe not people in this room, but our country elected someone with a golden toilet and lots of big high rises. That's the kind of people that we want, that we see as powerful, that we want to be in power. And so when Jesus talks about suffering and being persecuted and being unpopular and being rejected and generally just not fitting in, Peter is very upset. He's like, no, don't talk like that. Nobody's going to follow you if that's the direction you're planning to take everybody. Everybody wants to be on top. We all want to we are under the foot of the empire and we all just want to be the empire. That's what we want. But Jesus sort of twists the conversation and says, if you go down that path, you're gonna lose your soul. The word for soul in the Greek here is psyche. It's about your mind, your spirit, your whole personality, your personhood. If we go the route of just wanting to conform and take over and have power, that's the way to lose our souls. In this book that we've been looking through and unpacking, this Gifts of Imperfection, Brene Brown talks about why is it that we create these shoulds for ourselves and each other. I'm wondering if you have ever felt like there was someone who was trying to control you or your behavior for any reason. Has anyone ever felt that way? Like someone's trying to control them? Have you ever tried to control someone or someone else's behavior? Yeah, maybe a couple of you. Yeah. How has that worked out for you? How successful have you been at trying to control people's behavior, right? That's why I know there's a lot of people in this room who benefited a lot from life with AA. And that is a group that often teaches you a lot about control and how, this last week we were naming the shoulds we felt on ourselves. And we've also recognized those times that we should other people, that we try to control the people around us. And a lot of that comes down to why it is that we try to control ourselves by conforming to a certain standard, why we try to force other people who are different into a specific box, is because we struggle with worthiness. We struggle with this idea that we are worthy of love and belonging just as we are, that the person sitting next to you or the person you don't like or the person who you felt like hurt you or who you're not in a good relationship with, that each person is worthy of love and belonging. Each person has innate worthiness, no matter who they are or what they've done or whatever is going to happen next, that people are worthy of right now. Can you repeat after me and say, I am worthy right now? I am worthy right now. How many of you believe that? 5 people. It's hard, and maybe you feel like you do, but if you really think about all the standards that you have set up for yourself or that you have lived into that other people have, you might recognize that there's actually a very easy list that can form of, I am worthy if I do this, or I belong if I look like this. A friend of mine was up at the Line 3 encampments up north, and when she got back, she texted me and she said, okay, I have to do a very different outfit mood board for the next time I hang out with the anarchists. And she sent this list. She said I have to get like very short little bangs or like a shaved head. I need to wear really ratty black jeans stuff, black jean shorts. And she sent me a couple other things too. In the anarchist community. Does anyone find that kind of ironic? Shouldn't you be able to show up at an anarchist, anti-establishment rally wearing like your Old Navy jumper or, your basic jeans? Like, isn't the point of freedom, which is what a lot of people would think of as anarchism as a philosophy, that ultimate freedom would be expressing who you are innately, even if that self looks different, even than the progressive established norm, right? It doesn't matter if it's a right-wing thing or a left-wing thing or whatever it is, all of us can easily start to think that I will belong, I am worthy of love and belonging if blank. And as soon as there's an if, even if it's an if that you've done successfully for a long time, right? Maybe you feel really worthy and like you belong because that big if was if I get married? And you've been married for 30 years or whatever, right? Sometimes if you're living into that if successfully, you don't really realize that it's there until something happens. That's what I felt like a lot of us recognized in this time of COVID. It's been kind of an eye-opening thing, is maybe those ifs. I'm worthy if I have a job. I'm worthy if I see 5 people every day. I'm worthy if I have this group of friends. I'm worthy if these such things. And when so many things get taken away from us, we start to see those ifs. We start to see that actually we thought we were just doing great and feeling like we were loved and that we belong and that we were worthy. And then recognize that it was just because we had actually successfully checked off enough ifs. So my challenge for us is to consider our ifs, or what is it that are the things that are holding us back from recognizing that even if you lose your job, or you lose your marriage, or you lose this person, or you lose your capacity to see with one of your eyes or both of your eyes, whatever it is that makes you feel like this is when I am good and healthy and worthy and belonging, to start paying attention to those ifs in your life. The healing that comes from recognizing these things is in coming to a place where we can be authentic. And if this feels a little bit too like mushy-gushy, individual, personal, I invite you to start paying attention. Here's an easy thing to start paying attention to: the ways that we can form other people has been in the Olympics. If you've been reading anything about some of the things going on in the Olympics, there was a group of athletes in the UK, no, I don't remember which country at the moment, Netherlands. The women in the Netherlands who play handball, and they wear bikinis for this handball, and that has become so uncomfortable for them because of various reasons, and they wanted to wear shorts. And they were fined a penalty because of wearing inappropriate clothing, just for wearing these body-conforming shorts instead of bikini bottoms. Fine money. Or if you've been paying attention to the swimming trials, how Black women have different hair than white women, and there's been this very special type of cap, I think it's called a soul cap, that can cover Black hair really well. And that has been outlawed in the Olympics because it is not conforming to head shape. There are a lot of ways around us. If you're feeling like, I feel good and worthy just as I am, there are a lot of other ways we can engage with stopping, forcing conformity on the people around us. What if we lived in a world where whoever someone expresses themselves to be, maybe it is the pronouns they use, maybe it is their gender expression, maybe it is their sexuality, maybe it is the ways they express their culture and race. What if we were all aspiring for a world where we can dive deep into our own worthiness and authenticity, trust that we are worthy and belong just as we are, and then start to be radical in how we show that love to others? Anyone want to try this? Try this out? Radical authenticity for yourself. Does that feel good? Does that sound good? Maybe to feel that way? I see a couple heads shaking their head. No. I could not. Okay, well, whether you, however courageous you're feeling today, courageous to try it out, courageous just to be here and think about it for a second, whatever that is, whatever you bring, you're welcome to a circle. So let's gather in a circle together. So I'm going to teach you a song today. So we don't actually communion today, we will have a moment in the circle, and I also want to teach you a song that we can sing together. We're gonna do that at the very end, but we gather in a circle, even though we're not doing physical communion, I can just name that we tend to do communion with one another because we name that each of you, look at each other in a circle, look at everyone. Each of you belong just as you are. You're welcome in this circle, in this place. And also each person in this neighborhood belongs and is loved and worthy. Even that neighbor who you've never gotten along with for 30 years. Even that grocery store employee who's always grouchy with you. And outward even farther, the rest of the people in Minneapolis, the people who are protesting regularly in Uptown or in our neighborhoods, the people who find themselves sleeping outside of our church, the people who are police officers in the city. Each person is worthy of love and belonging. So do we have any birthdays to celebrate today, so we can especially be grateful for your loving and belonging today? Anyone? Yes?
All my kids are here with me today.
Oh, celebrate. All of your kids are here today. Yay! That is a big celebration. Once a kid, always a kid. We're all just big. Any other celebrations we want to shout out before we sing? Okay, so grateful for rain the other day. Yeah. Yep. I'm grateful we have. I just want to name gratitude too for the people who have been making the walker services happen. Thank you for the beautiful singing and the music. Thank you for setting up chairs and for the cleanup and the takedown and all these things going on. I'm very grateful for everyone who's a part of this community together. Yeah, just.
Trisha left us 3 years ago.
Thank you for sharing that. Mainly gratitude for Patricia.
Gratitude for visiting an art museum with my friend.
Gratitude for visiting an art museum with your friends and for all the beautiful artists in this community. So there's this song that I always associate it with youth group stuff, but I've always talked about how you all are my little youth group. So I was a youth pastor for 5 years before I came here. You all my little youth group. So I wouldn't have thought about introducing this song, but I heard there's a band. I'm always hungry for spiritual music that is quality. And that's why the Walker Songbook exists, because people here were hungry for spiritual music that's quality, and a lot of just your basic hymnals aren't necessarily always that. So, except for the Lutheran ones, I'm just kidding. But there's a song, there's this band called A Beautiful Chorus. Has anyone ever heard of this group called A Beautiful Chorus? They often show up in like meditation circles, and it's just a very good spiritual group, and they actually sing a version of this song. In the hymnals in the youth group, it's called Sanctuary. Has anyone ever heard of it's called Sanctuary? But we're going to sing slightly different words. So I'll sing it through, and then you can copy me, and we'll go through a couple times until we go. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, whole and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, holy and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be your living sanctuary for you. Sing it one more time. Please prepare me to be a sanctuary, whole and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be your living sanctuary. Oh. Shalom.
Hello.
Everyone here, it's whose birthday
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
No, she's not.
Turn this up.
Is there going to be a